Hey everybody, welcome to yet another installment of Shop Talk. As always, I'm Michael Stoops, and today we got some news that some of you just bought a new car. So congrats from all of us here at Meguiar's. But we have a quick question for you. Is it a brand new car or is it a new to you car, meaning that somebody else took the hit on the depreciation when they bought it new? Either way, it's always fun to get a new car home, but you may be wondering, what do you need to do to that car, if anything? Well, if it's a brand spanking new car, you might be thinking it's perfect. You don't need to do anything to it. Maybe not, because new cars, well, they can sit on a dealer lot for a while. And some dealerships are pretty darn good about how they take care of those vehicles, and others, not so much. And it kind of depends on how long the car has sat out on that lot and what the weather's been like there. Are you in California, or are you somewhere where it snows a lot and the car sat in that environment for a while? Who knows? If you bought a vehicle that's new to you but was previously owned, was it owned by a hardcore enthusiast who really kept it up and kept it looking really good? Or was it somebody who stretched pretty hard and it's come off a 3-year lease from someone who could barely afford it, so they didn't really deal with the upkeep, and now it really needs some TLC? There's a big difference. And yet, it's kind of all the same. Let's point out something with that brand new car that a lot of people aren't really thinking about. If we can step over here with the camera, I want to show you something, a little tag inside the door that gives you an idea when that car was actually built and how old it may actually be when you buy it brand spanking new. Come here, take a look. So all of these vehicles have a tag inside the driver's door that'll show you a couple of things. This one, 01 of 24. We're shooting this right now at the end of July. So this car's already 7 months old and it hasn't been sold at a dealership yet. And perhaps almost more importantly, made in Japan. And that can tell you a little bit as well. So for example, built in Japan, and we're here in California, in North America. This car has already taken a cruise across the Pacific Ocean. And trust us when we tell you, when a car takes a cruise, it's not like one of you taking a cruise. It's not getting first class treatment. They're strapped down to the deck or they're down in the cargo hold. And it's not necessarily the most gentle way to treat a vehicle. This car, on the other hand, a bit older, but it was built in Germany and it's here on the west coast of the United States, which means it took a boat across the Atlantic, and then it took a train across North America, and then it was probably trucked to wherever. So even though a car is new, it's traveled quite a bit, potentially, unless you happen to live right next door to the manufacturing facility. We actually had somebody come into one of our Saturday classes one time with a car that he was kind of lamenting the condition of the paint on that car, and as we talked about it, went out, popped the door. He had purchased the car a month prior. It had been built 11 months before he bought it. So as far as he was concerned, he bought it brand new from the dealership, but the car was almost a year old. What had it gone through? So bottom line here is whether that car is fresh off the dealer lot or someone's owned it previously, what you want to do is inspect it, see what kind of shape it's really in, and then think about, where do you really want it to be? Are you the kind of person that is really demanding and you want that car to look its absolute best all the time, and the dealership did a really good job of prepping it? You may not have to do an awful lot to that vehicle. If the dealer didn't prep it really well, and quite frankly, all you want it to do is be nice and shiny, you may just want to wash it and wax it, okay? Bottom line is, what you need to do to a brand new car, to a lightly used car that's new to you, is inspect it, do what it needs to get it to where you want it. So let's talk about some of the basics that you should do, because especially with a brand new car, protection is kind of ultimately important. So we'll talk about the exterior first, and then we'll take a look at the interiors and see what kind of things you might need to deal with. So let's take a look at some of that right now. All right, so whether that car is brand spanking new, right from the dealership, or it's something that you purchased lightly used, the very first thing that you want to do is wash it and dry it properly, because we want to inspect that vehicle. So use a 2-bucket wash method, because you don't want to inflict any damage, or at least minimize that as much as you can. Use a foam cannon if that's what you're into, but let's get that car clean and dry so that we can inspect it and see what it really needs. So we're looking at two different potential issues here. One is above surface contaminants. That's the fallout and things like that land on that car. If it's sat on a dealer lot for a month or 2 months or 4 months, or it got shipped by train across the continent, that car's going through all that transport fresh from the factory, and that paint's not really protected. So it's even subject or more subject to fallout and whatnot sticking to that vehicle as it's exposed. So wash it, dry it, and then you want to inspect it initially just by running your clean, dry hand over the paint. And if it feels rough at all, you're going to want to get in there and clay that paint to remove those deposits. If it's got rail dust on it, this is really easy to diagnose on a white vehicle because you'll sometimes see little rust-colored spots, and that's literally rail dust that has started to kind of corrode and oxidize. A good decon wash can come in handy there. If it's a used vehicle that you've purchased, again, depending on who owned it before you, whether they took really good care of it or not, that may need it as well. But don't be surprised if that brand new car has been subjected to that. Now, claying, if you've never done this before, it's actually a really simple process. Our Smooth Surface Clay Kit makes this super easy. You literally just take the included quick detail spray, and all you want to do is spray an area, get it nice and wet, and then take that clay bar, flatten it down into a little kind of pancake like that, and then just run it back and forth across the paint. If there are those contaminants on there, you'll feel it start to glide as it removes everything. And if you're looking for more information on this claying process, we've got a video dedicated to that on our YouTube channel, so check that out. But this is really an important step with any car, but it might surprise you on a brand new car just how critical this might be, because rarely are they perfect. Now, some dealerships are actually really good at prepping the paint on a vehicle before delivered, and sometimes not so much. And again, because exposure is everything, if that car has sat on a dealer lot for an extended period of time, it's getting washed on that lot, sometimes in kind of a rush, and they're not always taking perhaps as much care in doing that as an enthusiast vehicle owner might want to do. So forget about 2-bucket wash methods at a dealership. Forget about foam cannons at a dealership. They're just getting the dirt off the paint. If they do a nice job prepping it, fantastic. If not, well, you may find that it's time to do a little bit of correction on that paint. And that's fine, even though it's a brand new vehicle. You look at that build date, you know how it's traveled, that paint is fully cured, you don't need to worry about hurting anything. And look, we've even seen cases where touch-ups at the factory on all kinds of different brands have left sanding marks where they've done some spot correction. We've seen pigtails in the paint, and those are things that you can correct fairly easily if you've got access to something like a DA polisher that's pretty straightforward to use. Again, don't be afraid to use this on a brand new vehicle, because if it's got those swirl marks in it or other issues, you're going to want to go in with a compound and follow with a polish to really correct that. And something like our Ultimate Compound does a fantastic job taking care of those issues. If that new to you vehicle was taken care of by a hardcore enthusiast, it may look pretty darn good to begin with. Or, you know, somebody that came off a 3-year lease and they were running it through a cheap car wash down the road, it could be pretty swirled up. And even if it looks pretty nasty, it's usually pretty straightforward to fix with a DA polisher and an appropriate compound. Don't be afraid to go in and do that on a new to you car or a brand new vehicle. And you know, if you're really into doing this kind of thing, you may be really surprised at what something like our new M200 on a microfiber disc can do to the clarity of a brand new car right off the showroom floor. You can really get that paint popping, and it's that claying and even a polish like this that really preps that paint and gets it ready to accept whatever type of protection you may want to put on that vehicle. And especially with a brand new car, that protection becomes really important, because as we already mentioned, straight out of the factory, there's no protection on that paint. Now, if the dealership put a sealant of some kind on there, that's fine and well, but if they did that over swirl marks, you just remove that sealant by buffing out those swirl marks, okay? So you want to put some sort of protection on that vehicle. And again, this comes down to how much time and effort are you willing or able to put into that vehicle. Well, you can do something as simple as our hybrid ceramic spray wax, where you wash the car, while it's still wet, after you've rinsed it, spray this onto the panels and then blast that either with a hard setting on the nozzle on the hose, or if you've got a pressure washer, even better. And that will get this distributed throughout the paint, and then you can go ahead and dry that vehicle as you normally would, and you're laying down a really nice coat of this hybrid ceramic protection on the paint. If it's a lightly used car, you can do the same thing. And again, for either one, maybe you want to go all the way into a ceramic coating and really protect that paint. This is a great idea to do this with a brand new car and really start off on the right foot from the get-go. Okay? With a lightly used car, it works beautifully as well, as long as you get whatever issues might be there, get those corrected. But if you start off with something like this, and then you maintain that car properly, when it's time for you to move this car along to the next owner, they're going to be the ones saying, oh man, I'm glad I bought this from somebody that really cared about their car, because it's so easy to take care of. You probably already know how easy it is to wash and wax a car, or I'm sorry, wash and dry a car, once it's got a product like this on it where the water beads to such an extremely high level. Do that from the get-go and really take care of that brand new car as soon as you get it home. Take care of that right away, and it'll serve you really well in the long run. All right, so part of your exterior treatment on that brand new vehicle or that new to you, don't forget about your tires and wheels, especially the wheels. Now, on a brand new car, you really shouldn't have to worry too much about brake dust and all that kind of issue on the wheels. Sure, they can get dirty, but hopefully that brand new off the showroom floor vehicle has not been driven a whole lot. Okay, it's probably had a test drive somewhere along the line, but you shouldn't have a lot of really bad brake dust buildup on that brand new vehicle. What you do want to watch out for, though, is what is the finish of those factory wheels on that vehicle. If it's your typical silver painted alloy wheel, pretty straightforward and easy to take care of. This is the perfect product to grab for those. But if you've got a darker finish, a lot of vehicles these days are coming from the factory with a black wheel. And some of those black finishes can be pretty sensitive. That's why we've got the black wheel cleaner, does a great job on that. You can always go with the aluminum wheel cleaner or even the ultimate all-wheel cleaner for some of that more harsh brake dust and road grime removal. Works really good. On that new to you vehicle, whether it's got aftermarket wheels or factories, those same principles apply as to making sure that you're selecting the right wheel cleaner for that wheel finish. But on an older vehicle, you know, if that previous owner wasn't that diligent in taking care of things, you may find that some areas getting a little bit tighter in here may have some brake dust buildup. And you may not have thought of this before, but that clay bar that we talked about earlier can actually really help to take some of that stuff out after you've done an initial cleaning with the appropriate wheel cleaner and an appropriate wheel brush to try and deep clean that as best you can. Don't neglect that clay bar if it's going to really help you out with that. But once you get those wheels clean, whether it's that older vehicle that needed a little deep clean or that brand new one where everything's in really good shape, here's a great tip to help you maintain those wheels in the future that much easier and keep them looking really good. We're going to go right back to the ultimate ceramic spray coating. This is so easy to use on even the most intricate wheel face design, because you literally just spray it, wipe it with a microfiber towel, work it a little bit, wipe that off, walk away, you're done. You're going to get great chemical resistance if you're using a fairly potent chemical to clean those wheels in the future. And with that great level of water beading, that hydrophobic characteristic that you get, it just makes the release of all of that much easier. Easier to clean, it's easier to dry, it's just easier to maintain all around. Keep the shoes looking as good as the rest of the suit on that new vehicle. You're going to be happy all around, and that car is going to keep looking good for a long time to come. Now, probably where about the biggest difference between that brand new car and that new to you car happens is when it comes to taking care of the interior and getting that all set up. So let's take a look at what you might want to do there. All right, so we talked about when you first acquired that new car, especially if it's the brand new off the dealer showroom floor car, that you thought maybe everything was going to be perfect on that car. Well, we kind of blew that myth apart on the exterior, but the interior, really no matter how much that car got transported across the ocean, across a continent, on a boat, a train, a truck, whatever, the interior really should not have suffered much of anything. Sure, you may have some fingerprints on that navigation screen, but A product like our Quick Interior Detailer with a microfiber towel will take care of that really quick and easy. It's great to use on the dash and all the other interior surfaces for light dusting, to remove fingerprints and all that kind of thing. But a really quick and easy tip for you, when you're working on the interior, other than the carpet, everything above the carpet, you want to spray that product onto either a folded microfiber towel or onto an applicator pad, depending on just what it is you're using, and wipe down the surface that you're working on. Also, that overspray can be really problematic if you're getting it onto navigation screens or the cover of the instrument cluster, or if you've got a digital instrument cluster. Those surfaces can be pretty delicate. And while the product is perfectly safe and incredibly effective when used as directed, spray it onto your towel, wipe it on that surface. If you're just spraying randomly on the interior and you get overspray on those surfaces and you don't know it's there and it self-dries, that can be problematic. I mean, in all honesty, plain water, leaving water spots and mineral deposits can be problematic on those surfaces. So just spray onto your applicator or a microfiber towel. It just makes it that much easier to control things on the interior. And again, on a brand new vehicle, you shouldn't have to worry about much other than a light dusting, or you might want to go into a little bit of a protection, whether that be with natural shine or you like a higher shine. You can go with our Supreme Shine product. Again, spray onto your applicator or your towel and work it into that surface, and you don't have to worry about overspray and clean up later on. So all of those other touch surfaces we can deal with in the ways that we've described, but if you've got a leather interior in that brand new car, again, it's not really dirty. It shouldn't need a lot of real hard work to it. But what it may really benefit from is some moisturizing and just kind of regular light cleaning. And this particular product, the Gold Class, the 3-in-1, this will clean, it will lightly protect and moisturize all in one application. And that's generally all you really need on new leather that's in really good shape. It's very easy to work with. Again, spray it onto a folded microfiber towel and wipe it onto the seats. That way, if you have perforations or whatever, you don't need to worry about plugging those up. A little bit goes a long way. Don't overuse it. It's not going to be all slippery and shiny and any of that kind of thing. But what it will do is, from the get-go, help you keep that leather looking really, really good for a very long time. Now, as we move into that new to you car that someone else was taking care of, hopefully they took care of it from the get-go the way they should, but if they didn't, then it may need a little bit more work. And that could include those touch points, the steering wheel, the armrests, the center console, that may really benefit from a little bit deeper clean. Again, spray this onto a folded microfiber towel, but what's really great about this product is it's a pH neutral product. So it's super effective at removing oils from your skin and things like that to clean things up. If you got stains in the carpeting or on cloth seats, it does a fantastic job. You can spray it directly on the carpeting and then agitate as needed. Otherwise, everything above the carpet, as we mentioned earlier, spray it onto a folded microfiber towel, work it into that steering wheel, the armrests, all those kind of things, maybe even the headliner if need be. Does a great job to deep clean when you need the deep cleaning. And if you've got leather seats in that new to you vehicle that need a little bit more than that 3-in-1 product, this works great as a two-step cleaner for both leather and vinyl. So this will work great on your dash if need be, or the armrests if they've gotten pretty grimy. And then you can follow it up with a conditioner to moisturize and condition those surfaces and keep them looking really good for a long time. Again, probably the biggest difference between brand new off the factory floor and new to you, but someone else took the hit on the depreciation, the interiors are probably going to be your biggest difference. Again, we've got some great tips on our YouTube channel, different products, different times to use what. Go check those things out, or give a call into our Solutions Hub. Phone numbers on the back of every bottle. They can help you pick out the right product to do what you're looking to accomplish inside that new vehicle that you just purchased. You know, at the start of this video, we congratulated you on that acquisition of that new vehicle of yours, and now we want to congratulate you on taking care of it and getting it dialed in to where you want. So where do you go from here? Well, first of all, go out and enjoy that vehicle, take a nice drive with it, show off all that hard work that you put into it. But when you get back, you might want to grab something like Hybrid Ceramic Quick Detailer just to knock off the light dust that's accumulated, maybe some fingerprint smudges, things like that. If it's a car that you're taking to an event or you need to get it cleaned up real quick, this works beautifully for that. If you're otherwise in a bit of a hurry and the car is a little bit dirtier, Ultimate Waterless Wash and Wax is a great choice as well. What you really want to do ultimately though is routine, frequent washing and drying of that vehicle, which is just going to be made easier by the fact that you've got a nice level of protection on there. And just maintain it. It shouldn't take a lot of time. You don't have to do it every day. A once a week wash is a great way to keep any vehicle, brand new or lightly used, or even an older one you might have at home, looking really good for a very, very long time. Now, on the back of every bottle of our product, we've got our phone number. You can give a call to our Solutions Hub. Those folks can help you out with any questions that you have on any of the products, any processes, anything like that. We've mentioned a few different videos on our YouTube channel that dive a little bit deeper into some specific segments of this. Those are always great to check out as well. Otherwise, you know where to get us on social media. We are all over the place. We're able to answer questions for you on those various different channels, and we love talking to all of you about those brand new cars you have or even an old classic. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you again on the next one. Stay shiny, everybody.